Go.
And it's a very warm welcome to this Friday edition of the Bar Stewards Inquiry. I'm Cathryn Fry, and joining me are John Leng and Lee Keys. Of course, as ever, in association with systembet.co.uk. Now, these guys have had a really busy couple of weeks. They've been at York, back in winners left, right and centre at York, and they also have done very well on the podcast front lately. So they're taking a little deck chair back today, and I'm going to sit back in the presenting seat while I let the boys talk about all things flat racing. We are going to be looking at Newmarket, Beverly, and of course the feature meeting at Goodwood. So good evening, Lee and John. How are we?
Oh, good evening. Good evening, Catherine. Good to have you back in the chair. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
And you all right, John?
Yes, nice to see you're up from the cellar, dear.
Thank you, John. Thanks for letting me out. I appreciate it.
Well, you agreed to wear the outfit, and I agreed to let you out if you did.
So wrong. We have got a few listeners. I nearly said readers' wives then.
Readers' wives.
We
Yes.
we have got a few listeners' questions to start off tonight's show. So I'm just going to read them out in the order that they've appeared on my screen. So we have a message from Martin Coyne on Twitter. Hi guys, love your show. I'm 69, new to this game of betting. Nothing else going on in my retirement. Totally rely on the Trinity for advice. My question is, should I bet individually or chance doubles or bigger bets? How do you guys play? Thanks again for your pointers. Lee, you bet for a living. You start this one.
Yeah, I mean, Martin. Do whatever you feels comfortable. If you can't follow the Bob Ogden path in life of taking a few dolly birds to the races, and having a few parties, big meetings, then I would suggest that you play whatever's comfortable to you. Do you like big wins? Are you happy with small pickups now and again? Do you like long losing runs, things like that? Well, no one likes long losing runs, but obviously the more you try and win, obviously the longer losing runs you're going to have. So therefore, it's on you really. So I mean, if you're following the tips, maybe listen to the reasonings on the pod and maybe put a few in a lucky 15 that you like, or whoever makes the best cases that you like, maybe do that for time and just keep the stakes real and within your pension.
Within your pension.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say, if you are sort of just, watching racing on the TV, people that say that multiples and stuff like that are mug bets, I don't think they are. I don't get that reasoning at all. And I think, if you sort of fancy a couple on the day and you're going to be feet up in front of the TV, why not sling them in a multiple?
I mean, if you're a recreational punter now on a Saturday, bookmakers are fantastic. You're not trying to take the crown jewels off them. Well, you are, but it's small stake stuff that they love, and you can get some tremendous offers. Like if you've got a Sky Bet account, they're hard to come by, but if you have got, they pay terrific place terms, each way terms. They'll have an extra place on they'll make it 6 places, 7 places, 8 places, even some handicaps. So there's lots of ways you can have a bit of fun and certainly enjoy your Saturdays on our bad tips.
Yeah, very true. And, John, any thoughts on this question?
Yeah, hiya Martin, thanks for the email. Really, I mean, when I changed the blog spot this year, I aimed it really at people like yourself. Last year, I basically just mirrored the bets I was having, and I had a lot of people saying, "Oh, I can't bet like that," and all the rest of it, and you'll get good prices, and we're getting shit and all this. So, the bets I put up there are working man's prices and working man's stakes. Everything's worked out at SP, and well, I mean, all being well, you won't take any harm if you follow it, and if you do, don't slag me off on Twitter because I'll block you.
There you go, Martin. Thanks for your question, Martin. I would say do whatever. Obviously, we do promote responsible gambling on this show, so bet with, always bet within your means.
As long as you've got some gin and pate down you, gin and pate.
Just bottle of gin, feet up in front of the TV.
Sell credit cards at once.
Oh God. Okay. A question here from Ian Davis. I know every blade of grass at Beverly races. As in my long distance running youth, I used to run around the track every Sunday morning, starting at the 5 furlong stroke 2 mile start. It's a stiff 5 furlong and an equally stiff 3 furlongs finish, yet the front end bias is undeniable. Why do you think this is? John, I'll start with you.
Now, come on, Ian. I have a friend who knows every blade of grass around Beverly, and he does it from running round the field chasing cattle, trying to interfere with them.
Yeah. Actually, John, knowing your friends, that's possibly true.
I think the thing is, they all maybe try and save a bit for the hill, you know, and I just get the feeling it's similar to Carlisle in its makeup, really, Beverly, the dimensions of the track. And you don't get a lot making ground up from there either in the sprint tracks. You know, it's as though you need to be on that front end. And, you know, I mean, I'm not Simon Rowlands, you know, and I'm sure we're both delighted about that. I don't know, you know, it just seems to be that's the case, you know. Dimensions of the track, I put it down, but I haven't looked at it closely enough to find out why it is.
Thanks, John. Lee, do you have a thought on that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as a better and in-running player, obviously I study a lot of track biases, and a lot of the uphill tracks, Carlisle, Beverly, Pontefract, etc., because they've got bends and it's uphill, you often get a lot of sort of trouble in behind. So the first and foremost thing, when a horse is trying to make ground up a hill, it can't get through, and it's looking for room. A horse can't quicken as well uphill as it can downhill. It's just a fact. They can't reach those miles per hour. That say if you've got an horse at the turn of foot, they'll probably do, I don't know, a 43 mile an hour, 44 mile an hour top speed at its absolute peak. It ain't going to do that up an hill. So the ground's harder to make up, especially because if you look at Beverly, like the 7.5 furlongs there, they go into a very steep decline, then it's a bend, so you've got the breather. So the ones on the front end are getting the breather after sort of a furlong and a half. Well, they haven't even expended any effort to get to that bend, really, because it's downhill into a bend. Then you get your breather, because obviously you're going probably 4 or 5 miles an hour left round a bend, and then obviously you've got then ammo to kick up the hill, and everything else is trying to catch you up, but you've already kicked and you've got ground. It's mainly uphill tracks, I would say. Ian. That's my Galway the same. You know, you turn on that bend, you can't be that far behind unless they've gone bananas, you know, or they've got the carrots in. They ain't catching them, and it's that's pretty much it.
Okay, excellent. John, I'm going to start with you for this one. This is definitely one for you. What do you make of the letter Venetia has written regarding the issues within national hunt racing in this country? And that's from Adam Webb. And Adam, as an aside, great to see you back on Twitter. A very, very welcome addition once again to Twitter. I know you guys met up with him and made him drink copious amounts of champagne at York.
Yeah, never bought around.
There was no stopping him. It was like a human funnel.
He was. I said, another one, Adam. Yes. Another one? Lad. Yes.
Human funnel. Remember that, Adam? John Leng has called you the human funnel.
Yeah.
Pouring it down till he was ready to fight everybody on that terrace.
I cannot imagine Adam standing up in the York champagne bar starting.
Jacket was off, shagging shirt was open to the waist. He was ready to rumble.
2 buttons were undone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Two buttons. Oh Lord. Okay. So your friend Venetia, John, I know you have a bit of a fancy.
I was a little bit taken aback at this because I didn't even know she could write. I was waiting for her bringing a calendar out. You know, Venetia in March, you know, and just tweed lingerie and a fedora.
Tweed lingerie. Yeah, I know that you have. There's a special place in your heart for Venetia. So yeah, basically, she wrote a letter to Nick Luck and then appeared on his podcast, stating why there was a English an English blacklist, an Irish whitewash at this year's Cheltenham Festival. She does make some very good points, but I think that maybe the matter needs to be looked into a little bit further. I think that's all we can say with the lawyers listening.
I'm a little bit astonished that she chose to appear on a rival podcast when.
I think we should get her on this one, John.
Absolutely, she could be assured of a warm welcome. I could share my mic with her.
You'd have the shagging shirt on for that, wouldn't you?
I don't let it be on long.
I'm not getting any sense here. What do you make of the letter? Have you listened? Have you read the letter?
I know. John gives me these images. I don't know about you, but whenever he speaks, I get images, and I've said this to him before. It's terrible. He must activate the picture images in my brain, and
you're a visual thinker.
Yes, and he's a master at that, and it kind of just sends me bonkers. Anyway, I mean, we all know what the game is. You've got to be a bit of an idiot to not think that there's something untoward regarding the Irish runners in recent times. Look, we all know that they've got the best horse flesh. We all know that they're making the best buys out the point to points. It's probably a bit of a closed shop in terms of, probably British owners getting involved. I mean, you've only got to look at Cheveley Park. They have everything trained over in the UK, and all of a sudden, where do they take the national horses? To BFG. I mean, it's kind of just a bit embarrassing. Everyone sort of knows, but it's kind of no, you can't say anything because
it's kind of that. Oh yeah, they've got.
Yeah, this one's found.
Yes.
This one's pulled its tits off all race and won by 16 lengths. Jeff Kidd has hit 17 hurdles out at ground and still won by 10. In a grade one. I mean, it's. I mean, the best one, if anyone wants to view a rabid one, was Emmett Mullins one that he sold to McManus at Aintree.
The Shunter.
The Shunter. It must have birched about 8 fences, pulled out, did everything that you possibly wrong, and it's still coming to the last, and it's about 6-4 in running.
I mean, he basically uprooted every fence in Liverpool.
Oh, I've never seen an horse jump so bad.
Yeah, terrible jumping. Yeah.
And that just shows all you need to know, because I mean, that's nothing to do with buying in point to points. I've seen Irish trainers have horses that have cost €7,000 buy multiplex and buy really average breeding and sires, and all of a sudden they're winning big handicap hurdles off 140. It can happen. The dream can happen, but there's so many times when the Irish have exploited the system,
so to speak. Yeah. I think the most, I think the one where I just thought, this is actually ridiculous, was the was Allaho in the Ryanair.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't look to have a visual firework up his arse, but certainly ran like one. I mean, that was just, it's a good horse, but really?
I know. There's been so many. Like I said, the ground trainer that won the Coral Cup by a furlong. Mick Winters doing windmills in the Cheltenham mud in the parade ring as his
Chatham
horse.
Street lad, yeah.
A Chatham Street lad has bolted 30 clear up the running. The only thing that stopped it was the pull up. I mean, it probably could have
ran into town.
Yeah, nearly ran towards Gloucester. I mean, it was just
the second wind. Some of these horses. I'm
Well,
just protecting myself from any potential legal action.
but it's just, I mean, you just watch it and go, right.
Yeah.
I mean, Chatham Street lads have done one career amazing performance, and that was it at Cheltenham. And then everything else, so whatever was the packet. Good feed, I'm going to say, good feed that day.
Yeah. John, have you stopped dreaming of Venetia? Have you got anything to add?
No, I think I'll just carry on for a little while.
Okay, I'll leave you with that. Okay, last question from Nick Davis. Can the first-time blinkers work the oracle on Kadim? John, snap out of the Venetia stupor. What's your view?
Don't know why on earth Davis is asking questions about first-time blinkers. He'll know far more about whether they'll work or not than any of us will. We've done all his research. Kadim's funny, really. Well, it's not funny. It's a bit tragic, to be honest, isn't it? It's always shaped like it was going to be really good, really, and hasn't delivered. I think possibly my own bias kicks in a bit here, and I'll say, well, I blame Charlie Hills, but you know, it's probably a bit.
You love the Hills family,
you know. Yeah, you know, I mean, he does train the odd winner, so I mean, I shouldn't be just blanket blaming that. I mean, he probably wants its knackers off, in all honesty.
So do you, by the sounds of it tonight.
I'd have to sew them back on.
Okay, Lee, thoughts on next question?
Another image popped in my head.
I'm bringing the sewing kit out for that.
Yeah, I think Nick's got a point. I think that's a very winnable race for Kadim. I think it's literally between him and, well, we'll get onto it more in detail.
Yeah. But actually, I was going to say that is the last question. So you've led us quite nicely into the 2:45 at Newmarket tomorrow. The listed
seamless, wasn't it?
I'm going to say we've so missed your silkiness, and you look at that straight into the 2:45. So this is our first.
I want to thank Nick.
It's easing us in, wasn't it?
The 6 furlong Close Brothers Hopeful Stakes, a listed event for £52,000 guaranteed. Yeah, so I'm with Nick at the prices because in the chip chase earlier at Newcastle, there was literally 3/4 of a length between them. So as a punter, you've got to decide if you want 2-1 Tab Deed that finished sort of 3/4 of a length in front of him, or you've got to decide 8-1 whether you want to play Cardham each way that might find the improvement for blinkers, or might go backwards for Charlie Hills, or the drunk in the saddle at Zena. I mean, that's another problem. I mean, they've booked a drunk. I mean, it's not good. It's
the drunk.
Yeah, the drunk. So literally, you've got a choice. Tab Deedy, I think, is cast iron to run its race. It's priced at 2-1, so it's like really boring for me to tip, you know, unless. But at the same time, it is going to definitely run its race. It's just one of those whether you think Kadim will get that improvement. An 8-1 each way you might consider. So that's how I view the race between the two Sheikh Hamdan, the Shadwell Estate runners, obviously.
Okay, and John, would you have a similar view to Lee?
Kind of. I mean, this race has caused me nothing but anguish and disappointment in all. I did have my eye on Royal Scimitar for the 6 furlong handicap at York. He didn't turn up. I don't think I can back him on these terms in this, despite him having been back since the entries were made. I think, as Lee says, the choice probably lies between the two Shadwell horses. And if I had to make that choice, I'm afraid I'd be taking my socks off and going, no, blogger, and back to Tab D, because I can't back a horse that I think it's a shit house on the July course, because I think it gives them too many opportunities to jack it in.
Yeah, okay. could be a stallion horse that tomorrow.
Stallion, yes. Actually, as an aside to the 2:45 at Newmarket, did you watch that video that blogger put up of him and Stallion walking down the street?
Which one?
In York.
In York?
Yeah. just have a look and
I've not seen that one.
Note the stance of Stallion's jaw.
Right.
I think you might find it very funny.
Okay, I'm wanting that one down after this.
Maybe somebody giving one across the jar earlier.
I think that, let's just say I hadn't seen anything like that since I sort of, used to go to the odd rave in the late 90s. Anyway, final thoughts. 2:45 Newmarket. John, any bet?
Not for me. If you must bet, get your socks off and go blogger.
Lee, any bet for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's choose between the two, Tabdeed or Cadham. I'd prefer Tabdeed myself, a solid 2-1.
Okay, superb. Thank you. Right, let's move on to Beverly. From Newmarket to Beverly, straight up the A1 and some. The 205 rather at Beverly, the Silver Cup. Lee, I'm going to start with you.
Okay. Well, the shirt I reckon will be out probably tonight and tomorrow. The shirts took one up to Hamilton tonight for a valuable handicap. So I reckon it'd be unbuttoned there to possibly pull a wee morag up there.
Nice little garden track as well, Hamilton. He might be sort of sashaying around, shirt open to the waist.
Yeah, and then down he'll come to Beverly tomorrow to see his runner running the Silver Cup at Titian. Beverly's close to Market Raisin, so I hope there's no more Market Raisin antics in years gone by.
Oh my God!
At Beverly tomorrow. I mean, we don't need any of that, do we, in the sport? But anyway.
That messes the Pussycat Dolls doing it.
Are they still going?
Yeah.
They are in John's head anyway.
I think so.
Now in my head.
Anyway, so Titian for Haggis and Marquand. I backed this horse. I had an absolute fortune on it at Doncaster. Of course, it didn't win. They never win when you have fortunes on. Okay. They went really slow. Last back end in a mile nursery, and I was like seething because it was given too much to do. It's always looked a staying type, and I find it very interesting that after 309 days off, he turns up here, and this is Agus placing for you. I think he likes to sort of like find an easy picking, if you like. So it's a northern handicap. Barnell's sort of like looking a bit quirky at the moment. That's the 11-4 market leader. So I'm quite keen on Titian for Haggis to do the biz tomorrow at 9-2.
Oh, okay. So Titian there for Lee, hailing from the stable of the shirt. John, you rowing in with the shirt, or are you going elsewhere?
I'm not. I'm going to raise the kilt.
What are you than me?
There's another mental image for you.
Not good, John.
I think this thing is a little bit interesting. I wouldn't advise anybody to go mad on it, A, because it's the kilt, and B, because it hasn't run for 400 and odd days. But, I mean, this ran second in the Chesham, for God's sake.
Yeah.
And appeared disappointing, just scraping odds on in a mess at Ayr. Now, both those runs were on soft. You can have a look at the dam side and say it's not entitled to be sorted by it, but I'm not keen on Lawman's on soft. I think the chances are it's probably done a bit of damage, and that's why we're having the belated return here. But I'm encouraged by the fact the kilt's bided his time and not had this out in April. And I just think it's interesting. If it looks fit, I think it'd be worth a little nibble, shall we say. It's in the box seat, and chances are Big Bad Ben will jump it out in front and might be hard to catch.
Okay, so that's March Law for John in the Beverly Silver Cup. Okay, so we're going to move on to the Beverly Bullet, the 3:15. John, I'll stay with you. Yeah, do you have a selection in this?
Yes, I do. I don't know what it is with these sprint races, though. They are causing me dreadful anguish this weekend.
Okay.
Um,
You can talk about it, John. This is an open show. If you want to spread the anguish, feel free to share.
I had a word with my therapist this afternoon.
Okay.
About my biggest problem at the minute is the last 2 weeks I've been trying to get into Paul Midgley's ribs and I haven't been able to. he has sort of half fulfilled what I wanted him to do with Ostilio, and he's got the Thrasher off, and he's got Danny No Hope on. So I think we'll at least do the right thing with this horse and leave the bugger alone for the first 3 furlongs. However, Ian Davis sagely points out it's bloody Beverly, isn't it? And it's going to be a sod trying to make up ground on the likes of Dakota Gold and probably Tarbouche from the stable. So unless them two cut each other's throats, I've probably got a bit of a problem. But I think at 50 to 1, I can.
You can chance it, yeah.
I think I can speculate a couple of monkey nuts on Ostilio one more time, despite knowing full well that Portland is its race.
Okay. So Ostilio for John at a lovely price there, double figure price, 50 to 1 in the Beverly Bullet. Lee, your thoughts on this race?
Gin.
Get more gin.
It is. It literally is. I mean, I honestly, you'll either look an idiot or an hero after a furlong, because it's one of those, isn't it? You just gotta. Yes. You've got to hope and pray whatever you decide to back gets the right position, track position, etc., etc. It's Beverly. It's probably there's a strong pace forecast. So for me, I'm proper sitting it out.
Yeah. Sensible decision, I would say, Lee. Okay, so let's move on today and then the featured meeting of the domestic action tomorrow, and that is Goodwood. We'll start with the Fillies Prestige Stakes at 150. Lee, I'll stay with you. I know you like these Fillies races, Lee.
I do. Yes. You do. Yes. No. Not at all. But yeah, I mean, Fillies have been the bane of my life. I mean, it's weird because I did all the stats work once on Fillies and mares races, because for some reason, whenever I back a filly and mare, they either win or they're very moody and they say no. And it kind of,
but what are you trying to say, Lee?
I know, but exactly. So I must be wrong, because the stats say that I am wrong. The stats, it's no different if you're a filly or a male or anything. So it's probably my, 48-year-old sexism coming through. I reckon.
It's the blatant misogyny.
Absolutely,
coming through the airwaves.
Yeah, but anyway, but I do really like one in this. It's the David Simcock train Clitheroe. I know. This is a terrible thing, really. Because
we think, like,
I know, as John testifies on this show for a while now, backing Simcock horses, it's a way to the poorhouse with Spencer on. You know what's going to happen. You know it's going to be a drop in from stall 10. There'll probably be traffic problems. It'll be like, on Twitter after effing Spencer. You know all this, but I can't be helped but drawn to it, because she did an enormous sectional time figure upgrade at Newbury. There's about £30 left to come, I think. She's definitely stakes class, so whatever she does today, I'm not really bothered, because I think she will be contesting the sort of listed Group 3s, whatever, in the autumn. Yeah. So Clitheroe, I'm very keen to watch. I'll be having a small bet each way, only because, like I said, it's at 7 to 1. It's not bad. I do think she's class. I mean, it's a maiden running in a group race, but that doesn't put me off, because she showed enough for me to suggest she's definitely stakes class for this autumn. So Clitheroe at 7 to 1 each way for me.
Okay, I can't see him, but I can imagine John just sitting there shaking his head. Yeah. John, where are your thoughts going for this race?
My thoughts on this race are, there is a town and civil parish in the borough of Ribble Valley in Lancashire, England, approximately 34 miles northwest of Manchester. It's near the Forest of Bowland and is often used as a base for tourists visiting the area. The town's most notable building is the castle, said to be one of the smallest Norman keeps in Britain. Several manufacturing companies have sites there, including Dugdale Nutrition. That's about all I can think of to say on Clitheroe, because Leng stuff. I was going to tip it.
I don't think I've ever stopped in Clitheroe.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 votes for Clitheroe. Okay.
I too think it is a decent. I thought that the interesting one was possibly Hello You, because I like the fact he's whipping her out quick and she might have the freshness of her from running at York. But I also think this all-conquering Simcock yard can overcome any disadvantage Spencer might convey onto the horse, and I'm convinced she's a really nice filly, and I think she'll win this.
Well,
okay.
We're not going to go Bar Stewards special because it's Simcock and Spencer. It's the only reason. If this was a trainer that would happily maybe sit third or maybe just pop in and but he won't.
John frigging Wainwright would probably go special.
I think so. I think that that's it. We love a Bar Stewards special because when we agree and we're quite confident, and I'm quite confident she's a very good filly. But like you said, John,
mitigating factors.
Yeah. Spencer dropping it in last and then flying to finish fourth, beating a short head for third, and everyone's spitting feathers. Yeah. We can see that. But anyway, that's good shout.
Okay. But a voice of confidence there for Clitheroe in the Fillies event. Okay, the 225, the 7 furlong handicap. Lee, you sensed anything in this?
I have, yes. Obviously, it's actually becoming more of an attractive price. Is Aratus of Clive Cox, David Egan in the saddle. 3-1 is available at the moment, I believe, and that's quite attractive because I think this horse is highly progressive. Certainly will be probably going to be stakes class, you'd think. So I can't put anyone off that. But at a price, I did feel the Accidental Agent at 16-1 was ridiculously priced.
Okay.
For the simple reason, I think this horse ran for. I mean, this horse has had an idiot on nearly all its life. I mean, in Harold Bishop. I mean, it literally has. Look at the one time Georgia rode it recently. He beat Rifleman.
Yeah.
Rife, and it quickened up lovely at Newmarket. It did really well to win because they didn't go that hard, and it quickened up really well on the outside for Georgia. And so they stuck the idiot back on, and then it's back to type. And I just thought 104.
Maybe you're bashing the Bishop like this.
Well, it's a lifetime thing, isn't it? It's a lifestyle thing as well. Ask Banks. Anyway, so Georgia Derby, yes. So I think that's the key in a way because I think she got a tune out of it. She got the horse to think, yes, this is easy off 104 when I've been trying in Queen Anne's and trying in group races. And the horse beat Rifleman, which came out and won at York last week. So the form is starting to stack up there. £3 higher mark. What's not to like? I thought Georgia gets a tune at 16s. I'd much rather back that at 16s than I would Aratus. But Aratus is a little bit of value now at 3s because it was putting like 5-2, and I'm thinking that's a little bit short. But 3-1's getting there for the favourite. But yes, I do like Accidental Agent. Yeah. That's my choice at 16s.
Okay, John.
There was 3 I sort of had interest in this. One was Persuasion, believe it or not, from the funky Charlie Hills he had.
I love the Hills, really.
Yeah, I do. It popped a blood vessel last time out when it was fancied at Ascot in that 7 furlong handicap. I mean, it was proper fancied as well. It was only 11-1. I think if you can forgive that, you can give this a life chance because I think it'll be ridden fairly handy. He's got a nice bit of early this, and I can't say the race being full of early pace unless the kilt does his usual. The other one was obviously Aratus, who just seems progressive and dangerous.
Yeah.
And the one I was really interested in, but the price is slashed in half all week, is Kimmy 5.
Yes, I thought you were going to say Kimmy 5.
Yeah, having its first run for Mr. Bridgewater.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say this is definitely a trainer upgrade, but what I would say is that I think this horse has looked in need of a freshen up, and that might be significant for it's having its first run for him. If not, you know, I mean, if it run another Stillman, I gave the impression he'd let it down a bit. Certainly want to keep an eye on for the next 2 or 3 runs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Change of scenery.
Yeah.
May work. The Oracle. So if I was to get a sort of one selection from you, what would you say?
I'd have to get my socks off again, I'm afraid, and go there. It's just one more for the H-way Trixie from hell, don't I?
That's proper blogger territory there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the March Stakes. Now, I really fancy one in here, but I'm just gonna hold back on that. So Lee, go for your thoughts on the March Stakes.
Okay, well, obviously from the Goodwood podcast, everyone know how sweet I am on Nagano as a horse. I was very keen on it at Goodwood, just worried about whether it handled the ground. It did. It won nicely. It's up £7 in the weights. I don't think that's necessarily a problem in this affair. However, I think this race comes down to tactics and lift 'em home, Joe. Lift it, Joe. Lift it, Joe. Lift it. Dancing King for the 78-year-old Joe Fanning to sort of lift it in the final furlong. After the easy, it'll get given. I cannot see any pace pressure whatsoever. None of these ever will want to make the running. And I think it's straightforward for Joe just to sit. And if he gets it right in front, 7-2 at the moment is going to look very, very big. So Dancing King for me.
Lift 'em, Joe.
Yeah.
Okay. John.
Well, I was hugely encouraged when I saw the new name for this race, when it's the March Stakes in memory of John Dunlop. And I thought what they might do to mark the event was have the kilt and Joe Fanning his redundancy notice in the paddock and tell him he's not getting any money.
Ideal, John. Ideal, yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I thought that it was hugely significant that Mr. Cromwell was sending White Pepper for this. With a mark of 84, he could have probably humped up in a handicap.
Absolutely, yeah.
And here we are in the March Stakes, for God's sake. So, God alone knows how this will run, but I mean, it's the only play I could make in the race, really.
Yeah. And that's my one bet of the weekend, actually. White Pepper. I think if you, like you said, there's going to be things that you could easily win domestically with that horse in Ireland, and to come over and take this. And if you watch the win at Tremor last time out, one going away over 1 mile 4, and obviously likes undulations, so we haven't got any problems on the track there. And I think when you see sort of declared here, Frankie jocked up, I was quite happy to see that. And White Pepper is my selection as well, John. So
well, that's it, Catherine. I mean, the mark of 84. I mean, more or less whatever happens here, this handicap mark's going to get a bigger spunk in the Katie Price after a football dinner, isn't it?
Yeah, that's one saying I must remember. Yeah, I thought that's a good way of putting it, John. Yeah. Okay. So Dancing King for Lee there, and myself and John are with Mr. Cromwell's White Pepper. So, okay, last race to be discussed is, of course, the feature event at Goodwood, the Tote Celebration Mile Group 2 event. John, we'll stay with you. What's your thoughts on this?
This is a glorious heat, isn't it? Ben Battle would probably lap these on his old form, but I think Rather similar to the lads. I think we're getting a lot of market clothes these days from these Godolphin horses. We got a fairly big one in the Voltiger the other week.
Yeah.
And I would like to assign more market confidence in this to confirm that he's where you would think he is, if you get me. And probably for the last time, I'm going to show a bit of faith in the yogurt cannon and Titch. Because, I mean, technically, against a horse like Ben Battle, he's probably not down in grade, but he is. Now, to me, since Ascot, this horse has given the impression he would blow Rolf Harris for a crack at time. But having said that, I think he's acquitted himself reasonably well in the mile races he's gone for. I would like to see him ridden a bit more positive round here. I think it'll be on the man's to do that. And I'm throwing me hat in with Chindit for the last time over a mile. If he doesn't run him over 10 soon, I'm going to write him a strongly worded letter.
I think you should, John. I think you should. I think you should put it on Twitter as well, to Venetia.
Possibly.
Lee, what are your thoughts on this celebration mile?
Yeah, I concur John's thoughts in terms of Ben Battle. If that had been 6, I know it sounds daft because we all bet for value, but if they'd punted that into 6-4, then you know it's a shoe-in because the Ben Battle of old would definitely probably be a worthy 6-4, 11-8 chance to win this. The fact that it's 11-4 and no one's bothering says that they're a bit unsure where they're at with it. So yeah, I see John's point on Chindit. However, this is my best bet of the TV cards on the weekend, and I'm very, very keen on Boss Hogg's Duke of Hazard. Yes. I mean, this horse. I mean, whatever anyone says about it, say, this isn't top class. You know what? Load of rubbish. I mean, look at its Goodwood record, folks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, I mean, this horse he loves it round here. Loves this gas pit, and you know, 3 wins. A second place and a 5th, and the only time it ran disappointing was on the absolute Goodwood bog behind Century Dream last year, when the soft ground just doesn't suit this horse. So if you take that out of it, it's finished first, and second, and only second. When it comes second, it was second to Space Blues. Well, you know, I mean, I know Space Blues is a 7 furlong horse, but Space Blues is a very, very good horse, and I just, how is this 12-1? It's just remarkable because it did not run badly at all last week at York behind Real World. It finished 3rd. Like I said, perfectly acceptable run. You know, probably wouldn't have suited the race shape and how York rides. And I just think back to its favourite track, Stall 1, the Doyler, 12-1 each way is massive. I'd have that. If I knew that Ben Battle wasn't quite right, I'd probably have this as near as 5-1, 11-2. So 12-1, the better the TV cards for the weekend.
Okay.
Just reading the quote from Olivia Cole, trainer's sister. He's spot on, says Olivia, and the ground will be perfect. He loves good to firm ground, and he loves the track. He's won this race before. He ran a really big race at Epsom earlier this season when he didn't get the gaps. He probably wasn't off. I think he won a really big race. So every reason to feel confident because Olivia's having a 5 on as well by the look of things. So
I'd like to hear that. Who's Boss Hogg then out of James Doyle and Paul Cole?
Paul Cole.
That's like saying who's pitching and who's catching, isn't it?
Boss Hogg was
Boss Hogg.
Boss Hogg was brilliant, wasn't he?
Yeah, one for the good old boys.
Ah, yeah. I just remember, I don't know what episode it was, but he was in the back of the police car there on the chase, and he's just shoving down loads of sausages. Absolutely superb. Anyway, that's a bit of the 80s nostalgia there. And before we close, any other business to report?
No, not really. Other than that, we're back on Sunday. We've got Lorne Malvo coming back for the sermon. We've wheeled him out. We've oiled him. So he'll be with me and John on Sunday at around the usual time for some more
straight talking Southerner.
Straight talking complete rubbish for about 45 minutes.
Okay, John, I dread to ask this question. Do you have anything to add?
No, I've got some people going to Redcar tomorrow night, local track.
Okay.
I haven't decided whether I'm going to join them on that yet, but might put in an appearance at the Lercle.
Shirt on?
Obviously, it's Redcar. You went down there with no shirt, you get stabbed.
Okay. Well, thanks very much for listening. Thanks for your questions. And the boys will be back with the retrobate Lorne Malvo for their Sunday sermon. So look out for that. And take care. We'll see you soon.